Hello, ladies and gentlemen watching on YouTube, and welcome to Race 29 of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Firecracker 400 at Daytona International Speedway. We're back to the track that started it all this season as we are reaching the final swing of races of the season, heading towards the crowning of a new champion. As we got these final 8 races to run, we're back in the southeast, like where we started, and it's going to be quite a fun stretch of races, and it begins here at Daytona in the Firecracker 400. But after our previous race at Boston, the point standings shook up probably in the biggest way imaginable all season long. A lot of drivers falling out, drivers coming up, and so on and so forth. Jay Jefferson extended his points lead to 85 points over his teammate Jordan Forbes, 90 over Laney Marino, 120 over Lisa Nelson, 135 over Riley Henry and former points leader Kyle Matthews, 175 over James Qualls, 195 over the pole sitter for tonight Michael Norman, 210 over Charles Belding, and 220 over Daniel DK, but still plenty of time for drivers to make strides to get themselves a championship. And speaking of that, let's take a look at the top 10 in the lineup. Michael Norman on the pole with Jordan Forbes next to him in second. Row 2, we have James Qualls, Melissa Alexander. Row 3, the Daytona 500 winner, Zachary Fitzwater and Chris Dollarton. Row 4, Rafael Fireblade, Jessica Shelton. And then row 5, Alyssa Drayson and Lisa Nelson. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Firecracker 400 at Daytona.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers now on the track to complete their pace laps. So yeah, 30 laps, whereas with the 500, it was a 40-lap affair. Now it's a 30-lap affair here at the nighttime hours here at Daytona. So we're going to see some really good action, as we saw during the Daytona 500. So far, the race with the most lead changes and different leaders. We'll see if we can come close to that benchmark here tonight. But yeah, a lot of drivers looking to score big in hopes of picking up a victory or to get closer to the point standings. Michael Norman being one of those who wants to rebound after he fell from 4th to 8th after Boston. And this is his first pole of the season. Man, this season a lot more drivers been getting chances at getting the pole. So I got a feeling when we get to the Clash in Season 11, we're going to have the biggest Clash field in the history of the event. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that race is going to turn out when we get to that point in October during Season 11. But yeah, how about Jordan Forbes, though? Talk about a comeback run for Jordan Forbes. Started off the season rather stagnant. Just like 3 or 4 races ago, he was like 20th in points. Now he's second in the standings with the chance of winning a championship. But we'll talk more about other championship contenders here after a bit. Pace car into pit road. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to boogity, 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 go racing. Well, Raphael Fireblade struck first to lead a lap to get those 5 bonus points for leading a lap. Meanwhile, it's behind him, it's 3x3 for many rows deep back there in the pack. But all 40 drivers up here racing in the pack. Nobody's falling out, which is a great, great thing. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the top side got a big surge of momentum down the back straightaway, as Raphael Fireblade looks like he's going to lead yet another lap to kick things off. But look who's right behind him, a driver who's looking to sweep the points races at Daytona. The guy who won the Daytona 500 back at the very beginning of the season, Zachary Fitzwater. He's already up here in contention, battling for position. But man, Raphael Fireblade, he's just kind of blocking every lane possible. I got a feeling if he keeps that up and it gets too much, he could end up getting turned around, and it could cause the big one to occur. But right now, it's like I said, it looks like the top side just gets more momentum down the backstretch than any other lane you can find. But meanwhile, up here in the second now is Chris Dollarton with a big surge of momentum, trying to get right behind Fireblade, and now he's going to pull out to the bottom to try and take the lead from the 81, and he does lead the lap, so the first proper lead change of the race so far. And Chris Dollarton, like a lot of other drivers who are outside the top 30 in the standings, just looking to try and end their season on a high note in hopes of getting momentum heading into Season 11 for some that are returning. But Zachary Fitzwater kind of in tandem with the 83 of Dollarton for a moment, kind of trying to push him past all the other drivers that are back here. But other contenders have slowly been up here for pretty much the entire race so far. Alyssa Drayson, who now pulls out to the bottom with a push from Quentin Moore. Didn't quite get as much momentum down through the middle of the tri-oval, and now Quentin actually goes to the top side. But Alyssa's still keeping momentum. Oh, they are 4 wide back here, or up here at the front. If they don't back off, the big one could strike at any moment. Oh, this is not going to end well. I'm going to stay on this. Kyle Matthews, one of the championship contenders, is up here, and I think wow, I can't believe they actually somehow settled it to 3 wide. I thought for sure they were going to be goners right there. But man, that was a close call back there. 4 wide, and they managed to settle it to 3 wide. Meanwhile, Chris Dollarton, ever since taking the lead, nobody's been able to pass him, as he's just blocking everyone every which way you could think of. Kind of like what we saw Raphael Fireblade do, and now Fireblade's fallen back. I believe I see him up there on the top side, that green and black car. But now we got some new contenders working their way up through the field. Mitchell Collins in the 22, he's up here. Daniel DK, who almost won the Daytona 500 at the beginning of the year. He's now found himself up here in contention, but he's stuck on the top side. Dylan Jacobs, who I believe started mid-pack, he's now in contention. Jonathan Zorline, who's looking to keep a little bit of momentum he's got going his way, trying to bounce back in the championship hunt. I was looking around to make sure nobody was falling out of the pack, and nope, everybody, all 40 drivers still up here. Now look at the run that Zorline's got in the 00, as he's trying to figure out what is it he's going to have to do to get around that 83 car, because ever since Dollarton has taken the lead, nobody's been able to surge past him, because either they're just running behind him to play it safe, or they get blocked. But Alex Hoover in the 24 looks to change that, as he's now up here into second, getting pushed by Jesse Turner, who has been on a bit of a momentum surge, almost winning back at Watkins Glen, and had a good top 10 run at Boston this past Monday. Now it's 3 wide for the lead, as we're getting our second lead change. Only the second lead change in 7 laps, so yeah, definitely not as competitive as we saw in the 500, but drivers still working hard to make stuff work. And now Jesse Turner takes the top spot on the track. But look at the run Lindsey Snyder in that 1 car is getting, running the bottom. 3 wide for the lead with her, Hoover, and Turner. As drivers kind of were scrambling back here in the back of the field, Cole Deaver kind of at the very tail end of the pack as he's hoping he can try and pick off some momentum to get back up to his teammate Matt Haas, and I think he's going to be just fine. In fact, he got a huge run of momentum towards his teammate. Alex Hoover led that lap, but now Dylan Jacobs trying to take the top spot. Jacobs trying to go for win number 3 this season in hopes he can get back in the top 10 in the standings and keep that momentum that Shadow Colt Racing has had pretty much all season long, with every driver getting at least 1 win so far. Lindsey Snyder with 2, Dylan Jacobs with 2, Riley Henry with 1, Jordan Forbes with 2, Jay Jefferson with 1, Scott Groverston with 2. And it looks like, it's going to be a close one at the line, but Hoover barely leading that lap. And now Daniel DK with a momentum push on the bottom, trying to get the lead for himself, as Zachary Fitzwater still, you're not able to shake him out of the top 10, it looks like. And Kyle Matthews, who almost wrecked when they were 4 wide earlier, like about 4 or 5 laps ago, he's now suddenly found himself up here, and he knows how to get it done on the restrictor plate tracks. He won at Talladega earlier in the season. He's looking to go for another restrictor plate win in hopes of also getting himself back up close to the points lead, as he's getting pushed by teammate Jessica Shelton. But now Shelton, she wants to get the lead for herself, but Kyle Matthews does lead the lap. But now Shelton gonna try and take over. But she left the bottom open for Scott Groverston to make a move, as Groverston now finds himself in the picture. A lot of drivers trying to make some big points gains, especially when it comes to the championship, because we're getting closer to the end of the season and determining a new season champion. And Groverston managed to pull away to a bit of a gap between himself and the rest of the pack, which that's not really a good thing, because look at the speed difference. 2 or 3 miles per hour speed difference when you're by yourself compared to being in the pack. 3 wide for second now is Melissa Alexander looking to make it work on the bottom underneath Seth Cole and Daniel Voiles. And Melissa Alexander trying to get back in the top 20 in points. Well, technically she's tied for 20th with Ryan Acosta. And then you got Matt McIntyre, who, compared to last season, has really struggled here in Season 10, and he just wants to be able to get another win to end the season on a high note. But yes, Scott Groverston and Melissa Alexander with gaps between themselves and the rest of the drivers in this pack, as drivers kind of trying to make moves in order to get some momentum surging forward, but just not really able to make it stick properly. As we got 18 laps to go. Still got plenty of time for these drivers to make some moves. Even the guys at the very back of the field can easily find themselves up at the front here in about 4 to 5 laps, give or take. Well, then again, let's look at the back of the field. Yeah, Matt Haas and Rafael Leduc kind of fallen off a little bit, but they're still within reach. Their best hope is to go to the bottom and try and catch up to the drivers that are running the top side, that are running a little bit slower, and they can still run up here in the group. They're still within reach, but not quite there yet. Scott Groverston continuing to lead the way here at Daytona with pretty much a top 4 kind of single file now, as drivers just looking to go for any kind of momentum they can. And we're looking at the fast lap times. They are running blistering fast in the pack, running mid 44-second lap times, with Poteet at a 44.608 so far. But I got a feeling we could see even faster lap times. In fact, we might see it up here with the leader, Scott Groverston, who was going upwards of 201 miles per hour down the back straightaway heading into turn 3. I'm going to take a look at his lap time and see if it was indeed the fastest. Shockingly, it was not. But Kyle Matthews just obliterated everything. 44.363 that previous lap. And now he's going to find himself up here in the 5th spot, as now the pack's starting to get a little bit more cohesive. Just a little bit, but few drivers have now lost the draft all of a sudden. Riley Henry, Matt Haas, and Rafael LeDuc have lost the pack. So their chances of winning are done unless a caution comes out. Which, with Daytona, given how clean these drivers race, fairly rare that we get a caution here at this track. As we're now past the halfway point, and Scott Groverson has just now been dominating everybody for about the past 5 laps. Nobody's just able to make a run at him just yet. And that's because the pack was kind of scattered, but now they're trying to get into a more cohesive unit in hopes that they can try and get themselves up here towards the front. One of those guys looking to make that happen is the points leader, Jay Jefferson, but he's now stuck in the middle, and that's not a good thing, and now he's going to be stuck on the top side, as now the field's starting to get a little bit single to double file, not so much 3 wide action like we saw at the beginning of the race. But now they're all working in more cohesively to try and get to the back bumper of the 42 and get past them. But Melissa Alexander just kind of, I don't know if she just doesn't have enough. I don't know if she doesn't have the confidence to lead a line, or she's just waiting for the right moment to go for a move. Because she's been right behind the 42 for the past 6-7 laps, but now that's about to change, as here comes that bottom lane with a big run of momentum led by Mitchell Collins, getting pushed by fellow Fords Michael Norman and Carson Gum. But again, Scott Groverson just dominating right now, which is very unusual. Well, then again, the night races here at Daytona, not as much competition as you would expect compared to the day events. But now, just as I say that, we're getting another lead change, as here comes Michael Norman, the pole sitter, to try and make something happen. And I see some damage on the 3 of Cole Deaver. I don't know what in the world happened to him. It looked like he got pancaked into the wall, and he's running super slow on the racetrack, like 155 miles an hour. So I got a feeling there might have been a slight incident that happened, and that's what's caused the field, like towards the back, to kind of lose everything. And now we're gonna be, I think, are we under caution? I saw Dollarton get turned. Yes, we are under caution, as it looked like we had a 2-car incident involving Laney Marino and Chris Dollarton take place on the front stretch, as there's some rear-end damage to the 83, but it doesn't look like much else of anything that happened. But these drivers that did not take the caution, they are trying to race it back. Scott Groverson trying to hold everybody off, but Keith Miller Jr. with a big run of momentum. Can he get to the line first? I don't know. Groverson's just got such a strong car. And oh man, don't go 4 wide as we're under caution, but Groverson does stay the leader as a result of everything. Some cars kind of trying to give room as drivers are just scattering everywhere as they're now taking the caution. But Scott Groverson has been the dominant car so far of the night. We're going to take a look first at what happened to Cole Deaver, and then we're going to find out what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at Daytona. Well, here's a look at what happened to Cole Deaver. So this was towards the very back of the field with these 4 cars: Alyssa Drayson, Cole Deaver, James Squalls, and Lindsey Snyder. You're going to see Lindsey Snyder, she's fallen back. She's trying to get in line behind James Qualls, but just wasn't quite clear and ends up hooking the 70 car. They both come up into Cole Deaver. Qualls smacks the wall pretty good, but Deaver took the worst of it as both sides of his car just got mashed up, and then as a result it caused him to lose pretty much about 30 miles per hour worth of speed that he could have by himself, and now he's going to be a big detriment on the racetrack. But now let's go up to the 83 of Chris Dollarton and see exactly what brought the caution out, if I can even find him. There he is. So let's fast forward in the race and take a look and see what actually happened with this. Oh, it looked like maybe just some miscommunication once again. Big sudden move on the part of Laney Marino. I don't know if she just went to dive down low or she just got really loose trying to go to the left. Ends up hooking Ryan Acosta up into Chris Dollarton, who then goes up into the outside wall, spinning completely around. And that is what led to the caution coming out and Laney Marino getting a little piece of it. But yeah, I just don't know if like Laney was trying to dive it into the tri-oval, or as she was turning left to get in line, she just got really loose and wound up hooking the 10 car and into the 83. But it was enough for the NNSCRA officials to bring the caution out, which is going to be a good thing for drivers that fell back in the pack and get momentum back to go for the win possibly. So let's take you to the restart here at Daytona. Well, after that caution and everything that happened before, all 40 drivers still on the track, but we're probably going to have 1 or 2 slow cars as a result. But, man, ever since taking the lead, nobody's been able to beat out Scott Groverston, as he has been your leader pretty much since about lap 9 or 10, as he's looking to dominate and win his 3rd race of the season. Second is Keith Miller Jr., 3rd, Quentin Moore, 4th, Carson Gum, 5th, Daniel Voiles. 6th is Michael Norman, 7th Dylan Jacobs, 8th Alex Hoover, 9th Hannah Klein, 10th Joey Parkhill. 11th is Daniel DK, 12th William Brock, 13th Jonathan Zorline, 14th Jay Jefferson, 15th Raphael Fireblade, 16th Mitchell Collins, 17th Melissa Alexander, 18th Dylan Poteet, 19th Seth Cole, 20th Artur Castanha. 21st is Zachary Fitzwater, 22nd Kyle Matthews, 23rd Matt McIntyre, 24th Jordan Forbes, 25th Jessica Shelton, 26th is Ryan Acosta, 27th Chris Dollarton, 28th Henry Sanford, 29th Laney Marino, 30th Lisa Nelson. 31st is Jesse Turner, 32nd Dylan Young, 33rd Charles Belding, 34th Lindsey Snyder, 35th Alyssa Drayson, 36th is Rafael Leduc, 37th Matt Haas, 38th Riley Henry, 39th James Qualls, 40th Cole Deaver. And it looks like he got his damage repaired, but I don't know if mechanically it's fixed. So we'll have to wait and see if he's still going to be well off the pace and if James Qualls is going to be off the pace. Because he did get the outside wall pretty good with that incident involving he, Snyder, and Deaver. But the pace car into pit road, 7 laps to go here at Daytona. 7 laps left for drivers to really go for it. And Keith Miller Jr. got a big jump on that outside lane. But I don't think that's going to really help him because the bottom is where you want to be for the most part here at this track. And Groverston going to have that advantage and also getting pushed by Quentin Moore among others. As drivers trying to formulate their final big desperation moves to get up here to the front and beat out this 42 car who's dominated since taking the lead. And I think by this rate, he's gotten the most laps led bonus points. Man, Groverston's just so strong out there. He could pull out to a bit of a gap and still manage to hold everybody back by blocking. Meanwhile, 3 wide for second. Voiles up high, Norman in the middle, Hoover on the bottom. Drivers trying to work together in a formation to really go for it. And yeah, Cole Deaver's still well off the pace, but a little bit faster, about 15 miles per hour faster, but still fairly slow. And then Qualls is a little bit slow as well. And then it's just scattered everywhere else. A lot of drivers going upwards of 204 miles an hour up here in the pack. And we're coming to 5 laps to go, and Scott Groverston, I think, will officially have clinched the most laps led bonus points, as he has dominated a little over half of this race, which is really unusual for Daytona, but it is more common in the night races than it is during the daytime with the Daytona 500 and stuff. But regardless, Alex Hoover, who's looking for his first career win, to get a win along with his best friend and teammate Alex Ferranti, who did not make the race here today. William Brock, who's looking for his first win. Hannah Klein, her first win. Seth Cole, his first win. Former champion in the series back in Season 8. Drivers really trying to work together, working to get up to the back bumper of the 42, as it's now 4 laps to go here in the Firecracker 400. And Groverston he's just really strong up at the front of the field. And wow, I just looked at the fastest lap time. Dylan Jacobs under 44 seconds out of 43.946. That's got to be a track record now here at Daytona. And granted, he's in a draft pack, but still, that is insanely fast. Alex Hoover up to second still, and Melissa Alexander, who's getting pushed by Kyle Matthews. They're trying to work together to get up here, and Melissa Alexander to the bottom to try and take second away from the 24. Also some championship contenders trying to work their way up here. Kyle Matthews, who is 6th in points. Michael Norman, 8th in points. They're looking to gain big to get back in the hunt as we head into some different tracks coming up. Michael Norman, who started on the pole, he's going to make it 3 wide for second, but the more they keep racing like this, the more it benefits Scott Groverston to just stay up here at the front. And we're coming to 2 laps to go. Time is definitely running out for these drivers to really go for it. Hannah Klein knows it. She's trying to get up there, but couldn't quite make the run stick, as it's now less than 2 to go. Michael Norman now to the back bumper of Scott Groverston. Does he have a stronger car than the 42? My gut says no, but we'll see what happens. Hannah Klein now going to go to the bottom, as she's going to get a big push from Carson Gum, but Carson Gum feels, no, I want to go for the win right now, making it 3 wide for second. Can these guys make something stick to get to the 42? It's going to be tough because the 42's been strong, but they're going to catch Cole Deaver. That could easily shake up everything. Groverston getting held up a tad as the white flag is out. I don't know, and whoa! Quentin Moore went through the grass. I don't know if that took out anybody or he just got really sent down there, but let's get back to the front as quickly as we can. Top 5 break away from everything. Scott Groverston still hanging on to the top spot, and it doesn't look like, unless something happens down the straightaway off of turn 4, I don't think anybody's going to beat the 42, who just dominated at Daytona. He's just got too big of a gap now between himself and second place, and he's pretty much got it. As we're coming out of turn 4 for the final time, 3rd win of the season for the defending series champion, Scott Groverston wins the Firecracker 400 at Daytona. In a race that came completely out of left field, Scott Groverston wore everybody out in this race. Took the lead on, I believe, lap 9. Nobody passed him after that. He just did a fantastic job at blocking and just maintaining position. And Groverston pulls off a rare dominating win at the Daytona International Speedway. Great job for the veteran out of Shadow Call Racing. But let's look at the rest of the results. Daniel Voiles, once again the bridesmaid, 2nd straight race, finishing 2nd, but still, great day for the 26 car. Artur Castanha with yet another top 5 finish, finishing in 3rd, as he kind of came out of nowhere at the end. Daniel DK looking to keep momentum going, finishing in 4th. And then Jonathan Zorline with a great run in 5th. Dylan Jacobs, solid performance in 6th. Raphael Fireblade, great run in 7th. Another top 10 for the points leader, Jay Jefferson, as he looks to extend that points lead. Keith Miller Jr. with a solid run of 9th. And Matt McIntyre with a great run in 10th. Rest of the time, there's your top 20 top 30. Bottom 5 for this week were Rafael LeDuc, Riley Henry, Alyssa Drayson, James Qualls, and Cole Deaver. And with Qualls and Riley finishing down there, that's going to shake the points standings up even further, and it's going to make them harder for them to go for the championship now. But we'll see what happens in the coming races. But that does it for our coverage here today at Daytona. Next race we got coming up as part of part 2 of the Southeastern Swing, we head again to Florida track, another restrictor plate track. We head to Pensacola. But until then, here is Scott Groverston's Victory Burnout and the point standings heading into Pensacola. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.